Small towns, urban areas, every unique location across the globe has a story. That story is tied to where that community is. The dawning of a new era. Aurora creates a collaborative learning community. Using technology, teachers, students, public and private organizations compare their stories. They learn more about themselves and others, creating opportunities that result in solutions, benefiting both students and communities across Oklahoma and beyond.
Aurora is a vehicle to help students understand basically all subjects, using geography as kind of the basis. Geography is really an ideal tool to use because it asks the question, where do things take place? This is a global positioning system unit. What it does is it helps you determine your location on the Earth in latitude and longitude. What you can do with this is walk out into the Earth's surface, mark where you are, so you can either mark a point or you can walk a line like you want to walk around a lake.
North 34 degrees, 0.53 minutes.
We place a very high value in what the students are producing, the information that they are gathering. And this information happens to be tied to the local community.
Normally we would test a lake or a stream once every 3 years with a normal lake water quality assessment. With volunteers, basically they can supplement that data by submitting information every month to us.
All right, we have to show the federal agencies that we have made improvements in the water quality. We are not going to continue to pollute our lake if we do restore it.
We've conducted construction runoff workshops to teach construction site workers how to put up the silt fences or hay bales to stop the erosion from those sites.
We're extremely grateful to the students of Enid High School for coming out and sharing their time and talents and expertise with us.
All of your data collection activities are used to support water quality reports that we're putting out to the Environmental Protection Agency. Your data documents our successes.
They're interacting with the community, they're interacting with mentors, they're interacting with each other. So it's a constant engagement, and they're learning. And what's even better about it, they're enjoying the learning and they're retaining what they learn.
We're going to be looking for things that you can find real close to where you are. But also it's important to know not just where you are, but where you came from. Anybody know what particular tribe was living here in Hugo 100 years ago? Chris?
Choctaw?
Exactly, the Choctaws.
The Choctaws allowed them to build this line across their territory in 1887.
And the railroad is pretty important to Hugo because without the railroad there would be no Hugo.
The line east and west was built in about 1902, which was still Indian territory.
This is called the Harvey House. And the Harvey girls have rooms upstairs, and that's where they stayed while they were working here. Very famous operation.
They put the depot and put a roundhouse here, and that's what made this a terminal and what they actually built Hugo.
Older people have a lot of historical resources that generally students don't really put a great deal of value in.
When all the trains shut down, that's when it kind of went out.
Were there many people that were upset about them closing the passenger train?
Yes, there was. They hated to see it stop coming into Hugo.
I've eaten many a good meal in here.
What the Geog Web model will do through teachers implementing the activities is instill in children the value of historical content.
This is volume 1, essentially, of the record-keeping system of the Historical Society. When an artifact comes into the collections, there's a number of things that we do in the cataloging process.
Is there any way we as teenagers could help?
I have had some really terrific help. Genevieve has helped me out before in the process of describing artifacts for the collection, and she did a terrific job.
So I'll place the object now. Okay, how's that?
Looks good. Ernie, can you tilt up? How about that? Perfect. And can you pan right? Students can very easily generate virtual reality objects which allow people on the internet to be able to see inanimate objects but actually control them so they can relate to the images a lot better. They can also create a story so it places the viewer of the artifact in the location or the environment that when that artifact was being used.
What do you guys expect to get out of this trip? When you go home today, what do you think you're going to take away from this?
See how the government works in action. how it really is.
There is a struggle between North and South Oklahoma City. It comes into play when we see issues like, where do we locate I-40? And some in the north side want it about where it is right now. Some in the south side want it to run down closer to the river, thinking that would help the development of the river south of downtown.
There's actually in Oklahoma City a river that cuts the north and the south. And what is it about that boundary, the physical boundary, that impacts the way people interact with each other?
How do you keep the meetings focused on the city as a whole instead of the separate districts?
As mayor of Oklahoma City, basically I'm someone who's trying to build a consensus. I'm trying to get the north side to agree with the south side. I'm trying to get the different races that make up our city to agree. I'm trying to get the management to agree with the union.
So you're kind of the glue.
I don't know if I'm the glue or the magnet.
We talked about south side, north side. Say we did a study of that.
We could look at the different kinds of jobs like management versus blue-collar workers.
The number of Democrats that are on the north side or the south side, and the number of Republicans.
This would be put up onto the website, and then schools throughout the state of Oklahoma could go to that website, so it's kind of a connection.
The goal is to both learn the skill of gathering some information in a local area, and then to make it available on the web so that other people can look at those observations from a number of places and start to draw conclusions about them.
By using geography, you can better understand the differences and the similarities between different parts of the world. So to me, you can almost ask any kind of a question you want and use geography as a tool to answer that question. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. It's more than just a map, it's a database. And what you can do with the GIS is add layers of information about any particular point on the Earth's surface and then analyze it and ask yourself and answer questions about what particular features are that make that location interesting.
I'm from Hong Kong, so is the data available for Hong Kong?
Yes, it is.
I do not understand my hometown unless I understand it in comparison with other places. That's the great unprovable hypothesis of geography.
Students will have the skills, the building blocks, to be able to engage politicians, a Native American, just about anybody in the community that they typically would not engage.
What does it mean to be a tribal elder?
You have stories that you try to pass on, plus wisdom, and trying to instruct the younger members of the tribe how to be responsible and how to live a productive life.
Now that I'm starting to become an adult, I notice the elders now are pushing me to speak out more and pushing me to take more responsibility, and I'm having to completely learn new sets of skills in order to assume my role as an adult.
I am Jack Payne. I'm an executive director with the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. Are there any questions? Yes.
Speak Choctaw?
Very little.
Very little.
Let me tell you why. See, my mom went to Indian boarding schools, and they were taught that speaking their native tongue or language was a bad thing. In fact, they were punished for speaking their language. It's something that was lost for many years. We have approximately 20 courses going right now teaching people the Choctaw language. As long as we have a language, as long as we can sing and dance, we're going to have a culture, all right? Good question.
Through an activity, they're working together, they're sharing ideas, they're learning that while we may have different beliefs, we still are in the same world. We have to work together.
You mind if I get a picture of you?
No, sure, go ahead.
Can you have a couple of y'all get around sides if you don't mind? I'm going to take this. It's going to be put on the Aurora webpage.
Good. You're going to count to 3? Got a smile?
Students become able to bring out all of that information on the internet as a community-focused website that showcases all of the intellectual resources, historical resources in that community.
We have a project going on. We're taking some digital photos to show people in other parts of the state just what we have here in Hugo, and hopefully we'll attract some more people here to see this fine museum we have.
The internet and computer access is a wonderful resource for rural Oklahoma and rural America to get their message across and let people know what kind of resources there are, what kind of culture exists all across the country.
So let's think about our community and what we have here. Does anybody have any ideas?
Let's use Hugo Lake.
Does that sound like a good idea? I mean, that's a pretty good project. Let's brainstorm some ideas dealing with Hugo Lake.
There's a new marina at the lake.
And how can we use this with our technology?
The internet.
What can we put on the internet then?
You mean like a virtual brochure?
That's a good idea.
What else will interest people about the marina?
When it's going to be open.
How good the fishing is in Hugo Lake.
We can tell the tourists that our water is good quality.
Better the water, the better the fish are.
We could do a combined project with our science class and to write about the water clarity.
This is the dissolved oxygen test, and we're putting the water sample in the bottle to test how much oxygen is in it.
There's no air, so this is a good sample. That's all you do.
How many drops of that do we add? 8. Okay, very good. And how do we add those drops?
Holding the bottle straight up and down.
Okay, good. Why is that?
So that you get even drops.
Turn it upside down and then pull back on the plunger. You're going to add 1 drop and then you're going to swirl it. What we're going to do is we're going to watch for that color change. What color is it supposed to change to? BCS 42. Compare it to our color book. Here's the color chip that it's supposed to look like. So just keep dropping it 1 drop at a time until it gets to that color.
The Water Resources Board, a state agency working with school districts, help the teacher train the students.
After we train them, they are fully certified to collect this water quality information.
They make sure they're up to speed to the standards of state agencies. The standards of the Aurora Project aims to be as good as state agencies, so there's a lot of collaboration.
Yeah, I got it, no problem. Mark the point, just plug it in the computer when we come back.
What are the nitrate levels in Enid, Darrell?
They're about 0.3. What is it like in Claremore?
Claremore was 0.25.
We can compare our results to, say, Alva, Hugo.
What do we have for pH?
The range is 7.5 to 8.5.
I've always wanted to get my kids out in the field and show them what a scientist actually does. And this is some of the things that we just can't do in the classroom.
We're going to put the data we got today on the Aurora website page so we can compare it with other schools in Oklahoma to see what the difference is in each other's water information.
My kids are no longer students. They're actually scientists. The first thing they do when they come to school is want to get on the computer and download what's happening. They're finding their own information and finding their own clues and finding their own answers. I'm beside them going, yeah, that's right. Show it to me, you know. So we're really making them a whole new breed of learners.
We're making better citizens because they're aware. They see with geographers' eyes and they see with citizens' eyes. They're now seeing the whole community. What causes that to happen is that interactive learning environment.
The potential of expanding our awareness of our community and the world around us is tremendous because in a way, we've got a tremendous labor force to discover this information for everybody else, and that's the students in the classroom.